How's it going, everybody? Hope you're doing well. It's just very, very quick live I'm going to be doing today. Again, just come off nights again, so I'm just going to do a quick one today. This is just a quick little video I've done. As a lot of you know, if you watch my shorts and some of my videos, and obviously my documentary format, which I do, sometimes I like to talk about things, obviously, about the Catholic faith, and sometimes it can come across a little arrogant sometimes, and it doesn't mean to, because I'm not an arrogant person at all. But obviously, a lot of you know, especially if you're Christian, you'll see that there's a lot of people out there who want to attack Catholicism. The Eastern Orthodox Church actually doesn't get it as much, but they still do get it. But a lot of people want to attack the Roman Catholic Church, for example, like, I'm Christian, not Catholic, and Catholic is a cult, and Catholic is this, Catholicism is that, and so on and so forth. And by doing this, what they're doing is they're showing their ignorance and lack of education and not knowledge of their church history, basically. Now, church history is accurate when it comes to the Roman Catholic Church, and the same as the Eastern Orthodox Church. Now, no matter what denomination you are on the planet, if you're not Eastern Orthodox, you're not Roman Catholic, then you're Protestant, whether it's Evangelists, Methodists, Baptists, even Jehovah's Witnesses fall into this, Church of England, which is one of the oldest, Lutheranism, which is one of the oldest. These are the oldest forms of Church of England, especially Lutheranism and Church of England. So Church of England kind of stole won the popularity contest over Lutheranism quite a lot, obviously, but Lutheranism is the oldest form of Protestantism in the world. Now, obviously, the reason I'm doing this video is there's been a few comments where people have, tried to have little snipe shots at me, but I've always shut them down straight away. And I haven't really had much comeback from it, which is a good thing, because I think my arguments are sound. But the reason I want to do this video really is just for the people out there who have seen me and have seen some of my shorts, my short videos, pretty much where I do the little facts on Catholicism. People seem to have a real big issue with Rome, and it's unwarranted, because if you look at your church history and you go back as far as you can go, you'll realize that your church was set up by a man, who set your church up. And, you'll find that you somewhere down your tree, your line, go back to the Roman Catholic Church. And that's where you'll go back to. Okay. All forms of Protestantism come from Rome. Every single one of them. And some of them, like Father Mike Schmitz famously said in his video, if you don't watch it, Are All Churches the Same? Do check that video out. Where it's live, I can't link the description, but it's a brilliant video. And he's right. Some ships look a lot like the Roman Catholic Church, and others are not even going in the same direction anymore, although they think they are. Now, I'm a big lover of the Protestant faiths. And it's all down to your style of worship. So, for example, if you're if you're Church of England, you can be a really good Christian. You can love Christ. You can, love the sacraments. You can follow Christ well. And maybe the Roman Catholic Church is just too rigid for you. That's fine. The issue I have with the Church of England is where, and other Protestant faiths, is where they really don't look at the Eucharist the way they should do. Jesus did clearly say, this is my body given up for you, not this looks like my body given up for you. He clearly stated, this is my body. He would have stated if it was a metaphor. It wasn't a metaphor. And that's why Catholics look at the Eucharist as one of the big things, that it is the body and blood of Christ. But I can get around that if you look at it as a representation of Christ. But it's like, for example, YouTubers. There's one YouTuber I absolutely love, and I follow him, which is Matt Whitman, 10-Minute Bible Hour. And if he ever watches this, love his stuff. And he is the sort of Protestant I wish every Protestant was like, because he has a massive amount of respect for the Roman Catholic Church. He doesn't disagree that we come from Rome. He doesn't disagree with that. He just finds that the way he worships and the way he follows faith is better to him than maybe what Catholics will do. But he will never discredit Roman Catholics. He will never be rude against Roman Catholics. He'll never say they're not Christian, because he knows they are Christian. For those of people that say, oh, Catholics are different, Catholic is a word and it means universal. That's all Catholic means, universal. Catholics are in a way the original Christians with the Eastern Orthodox Church. I'm not one of the YouTubers out there who are pro-Catholic and I forget the Eastern Orthodox. No, Eastern Orthodoxy and Roman Catholicism were both founded by Christ himself. No other church was. And if you get in talks, or if you have any friends who are Muslim, and I'm blessed, I have a lot of friends who are Muslim, some who are imams who are from Syria, from Iraq, Palestine. I have friends who are from those parts of the world, and they all say the thing that they all seem to, a lot of Muslim countries like Ireland, they like the Irish, who are predominantly Roman Catholic. They like Catholics. They like the Eastern Orthodox. They live with the Eastern Orthodox Church out there and the Roman Catholic Church. But the Muslim faith have a big problem with Protestants because they claim they know their Bible. They say they live by scripture alone, sola scriptura. But yet, Martin Luther decided to remove 7 books. Sorry, 7 books. Martin Luther decided to remove 7 books. So if you live by scripture and scripture alone, you shouldn't be removing books. A Muslim would say that's blasphemy. That's wrong. So how can you live by scripture and scripture alone, but you remove 7 books? Now, I'm not blaming Protestants for this because this was done many years ago. But they have to look at the story and say, look, I don't necessarily follow Catholicism. Okay, that's fine. But to criticize it, to say you know more about what they worship, oh, they worship Mary, they worship the saints. No, they don't. No. You don't know what you're talking about. Talk to a Catholic. You go and talk to a Catholic priest. Go and watch a video. There's many videos on YouTube. Father Mike Schmitz, for example, does many, and there's many other Catholic priests who do the same. So you don't really want to argue about facts that you don't know. And then they go, oh, but we're educated. The Roman Catholic Church are behind science. In fact, they have some of the top scientists in the world. The man who discovered the Big Bang Theory was a Roman Catholic priest. Thomas Aquinas is probably the greatest doctor of the church that there's ever been. Most of the Nobel Prize winners have been Catholic. So this is something to look at. You've got to realize that Catholicism are in science. They're in psychology. People say that they're educated. You do realize that it was actually the church that started universities. It's a fact. They started universities. So all these people out there who Protestant go, oh, but no. You don't realize how educated Rome is and what Rome has given the world, and that's why there's a video coming out soon, what have the Romans done for us, which I think you'll all like. Now, when I say these comments on my shorts, I'm only doing it with a bit of fun, with a bit of banter. I do videos for the Church of England, for some churches. I'm going to be doing them for the Evangelists and for the Baptists and for the Methodists. But I will not stand for people saying, like, for example, there's and if the person, I won't say who they are, but they'll know because they know me or they've met me before. There's a pastor I know, and they saw my tattoo on my arm and they go, oh, it looks very Catholic. And I looked at them and I thought, you've just discredited yourself as the name of pastor, because they said it in a sarcastic manner. It's like, and what's wrong with being Catholic? Jesus says, don't judge. He also said in the Bible, if they're not with us, if they're not against us and they're with us, then what harm do they do, basically? But the problem is when they criticize the church that Christ set up in the first place. Now, me saying all this, bearing in mind, I'm not saying that Rome are infallible. I'm not saying that Rome have not done atrocities, obviously, in the past with the book Morus Maleficarum, I think it's called, which is where they burnt women, basically, for witchcraft and things like that. I'm not saying that Rome didn't declare war on people. I'm not saying anything like that. But what I am saying is that Rome identified their mistakes and they've made atonements for them. They're also the largest, most powerful organization in the world. The Order of Malta are the largest charity in the world. Who are, Rome give more than anyone else does in the world. Any church does in the world, but yet they're under scrutiny continuously. And it's from people who, again, deep down are bitter. They're bitter because it's like their church is better than my church, and they don't like it. They don't want to follow Rome. But even the Church of England, they follow the Nicene Creed. They follow the Nicene Creed. But a lot of these people out there, and you get a lot of YouTubers out there what have more followers than me at the moment. And I'll say at the moment because that will change. But these people out there are giving people wrong information because they've got a platform, they've had a YouTube channel for longer, they've got popular, and they fill people's head full of nonsense. And it's wrong. It's like, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you have to like Roman Catholicism. I'm not saying that you have to, look at the Pope. Don't get me wrong. You should do. The Pope is the vicar of Christ, whether you're Roman Catholic or not. He is the vicar of Christ. Therefore, he is the head. He is the patriarchy. That is where the triangle stops. And only above him is God himself. Pope was chosen. God chose Peter, and Peter had his line of successors. Rome had that line of successors, and so does the Eastern Orthodox. But Rome have the Pope. Simple as that. So if you're a Church of England, guess what? It's not the Archbishop of Canterbury. The Pope is pretty much the man, whether you like it or not. That's who God chose. You've got to deal with it. Not all Catholics agree with Pope Francis or like Pope Francis, but he is the Pope. End of story. But my problem is a lot of people have this stigma where they really give Catholics a hard time. And Catholics, don't always know how to defend themselves, and they should do. Now, obviously, I'm a historian, so I've studied this. I've studied theology. I wanted to be a priest, and funny enough, when I wanted to be a priest, I was going to go the Church of England route because I was originally an Anglo-Catholic, which is High Church of England, pretty much what Henry VIII started. Pretty much, they believe in the seven sacraments. The only thing is they don't look to the Pope; they look to the Archbishop of Canterbury. That's the only difference, because obviously, when Henry VIII did it, it was you look at the king, no one else. And Jesus, obviously, Jesus was number one, and you didn't look to the Pope because he fell out with the Pope. But Henry VIII himself was a massive Catholic. He loved the papacy. He was given the title Defender of the Faith, which King Charles III today holds to this day. And his son, William, when he takes the throne, will hold Defender of the Faith. So you've got to realise that through history, people have fallen out with the papacy and things like that. There's been a lot of atrocities against, people. The Cathars, for example, the pagans had a bad light with it. Obviously the wars with Islam, years ago. But these wars don't exist anymore. The Pope goes out to Iraq, he goes out to Syria, he talks to the top people in the Abrahamic world and in the Islamic world, and there is a truce. There is a love there. If you go to Israel or Palestine, you've got not. Israel's a bit sorry, but if you go to Israel, Palestine, you go to Iraq, you go to Iran, you go to I forgot the name of it now, but there are a lot of places where you can go and you'll find a lot of love, around the world for Catholics and Christians. God bless.